and more twisted by the day. The White House is now being accused of planning to take doctors from veterans hospitals and sending them to the border to help with the expected migrant surge after Biden ends Title 42.
Unbelievable. But more than 50 Republican lawmakers signed off on a letter sent to DH Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas calling the alleged proposal deeply troubling. They also pointed out that wait times for a veteran to see a doctor is a very long 22 days.
Awful. And if that doesn't tell you enough about this administration's priorities, Biden's decision to end Title 42, it could bring up to 30,000 illegals into the United States every single day. Yet this week, the Department of Homeland Security released its first ever Equity Action Plan, which identifies 7 focus areas to advance equity across the department. Here to react is former DHS Oversight Counsel Mike Howell and Arizona gubernatorial candidate Steve Gaynor. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Glad to have you with us tonight.
Thank you.
Mike, let's start with you. This DHS is a mess. Their priorities are all over the place. You had those Border Patrol agents accused of whipping migrants. They've reportedly been cleared of wrongdoing. That's according to the New York Post. This is 7 months later. It took them that long. So pretty much you have the DHS concerned about going after their own employees and advancing equity, but not stopping illegals. I mean, this can't be helping the low morale of border agents.
Yeah, absolutely not. Morale is the worst it's ever been. The Biden administration absolutely turned its back on the men and women Border Patrol, not to mention Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the removal agency, which has been completely shut down. What's happening at the border is unconscionable, and it's about to get way worse. With Title 42 ending, Border Patrol is not ready for this. They cannot be, because the administration is encouraging a massive influx of tens of thousands of migrants a day, potentially. This is going to be dangerous. People are going to get hurt. And the drugs, the crime, and the horrible things that are going to cross that border are going to hurt us all throughout the country. Every town is a border town. When you have this many people coming into the country, and when ICE is shut down and they can't be removed, it is permanent chaos. It is a terrible situation, and their priorities are all mixed up. This is an administration with an anti-America, anti-borders agenda. It's terrible.
Mixed up indeed. Now, Steve, what is your reaction to the fact that they are focusing on equity? Well, human traffickers are smuggling women, young children, and unvetted people are coming into this country, not to mention the record amounts of fentanyl coming across our border. And now these are at alarming rates and impacting every single American.
Yes, and we're seeing this in Arizona. The price of fentanyl pills in Arizona now ranges from $1 to $2 a pill. A personal friend, family of mine, lost a son recently just because of fentanyl. It's killing people in Arizona and all across the country. Biden should be impeached for what he's doing at the border.
Yeah,
it's
no
outrageous.
question about it. It's Biden's drug crisis as well. And Mike, I want to ask you, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is making a lot of news right now. He's doing everything that he can do to fight this crisis. His state is really ground zero for some of the worst of it. But rather than work with him, the White House has attacked him time and time again. The latest coming from CBP Commissioner Chris Magnus, who put out a statement, and he said, quote, Governor Abbott is taking actions to move migrants without adequately coordinating with the federal government and with local border communities. Mike, what's your reaction to that? And what do you think about the impact of what we're seeing right now as these migrants are bused to our nation's capital?
Right. Well, first off, Magnus is completely unqualified for the job. He was a small town sheriff at best with a checkered past, was picked basically to check a diversity box for the White House. He's way out of his league. He has no idea what he's talking about when he talks to Governor Abbott and others down in Texas who have been dealing with this for the entirety of the Biden administration and have the border right there in their own communities. Sending these buses to Washington, D.C., look, it's an embarrassing look for the White House to have this play out in the scenes of our nation capital. Frankly, though, the buses are going the wrong way. The buses should be going the other way, south of the border, sending these people back to where they came. Right now, it's being worked out in a way in which states are exploring the extent of what they can do, but the Biden administration will do everything in its power to stop states from doing anything to protect themselves. Why? Because they love the border crisis. Why do they love the border crisis? Because they think it gets them votes when they rapidly change the demographics of this country and loosen our voter restriction. It's one of the worst things any president has ever done. It borders on some of the worst unconstitutional and unconscionable behavior, and he should be held accountable.
Absolutely. Now, Steve, we hear a lot about Texas, rightfully so. They've been in the media sending those migrants to D.C., but your state of Arizona, what more should Doug Ducey be doing to stop this problem?
I think Governor Abbott has the right idea. If Biden wants to have these people come across the border, why don't we ship them not only to Washington, D.C., but his home state of Delaware? Let the people in those areas see the consequences of his policy, because my friends at the border who own ranches and properties have tons and tons of people coming across. They're dangerous, they're armed, the cartels are controlling our border. No democracy in the world would tolerate what the United States and the people of the United States are tolerating, and it's outrageous. It's a dereliction of duty by the Biden administration, and they need to pay the price.
Mike, I don't know that this administration, as you mentioned, has any interest in making any commitments to, fixing this problem. But what does need to be done? What could be done that could turn this around and at least slow down this flow that we're seeing coming through our border?
Right. That is a very easy question. It is put back the policies that were in place at the end of the Trump administration. That includes building the border wall, finishing the border wall. It includes migrants applying for asylum, which the vast majority are fraudulent claims that don't meet our asylum definitions, making them wait in Mexico throughout the duration of their claims. It means restarting ICE and removing as many illegal aliens as humanly possible so there is a deterrent. It means working with countries south of the border in asylum cooperative agreements where if someone leaves another country, walks through the next, that's where they get asylum, not coming to the U.S. It also means Joe Biden needs to apologize and undo his promise to illegal aliens, which he made on the campaign stage, and he continues to make. And that's when he said, come here and apply for asylum. That's why they're coming. They know Joe Biden's weak. They know he's opened the border, and they need to be told that they're not welcome.
But Mike, what about the root causes?
The root causes is the open border. It's that the president's telling the companies shut it all down. So long as America is the greatest, country in the world, people are going to want to come here. But you know what? We have a say in who gets to come here. It's called the legal immigration system. The ideal we should be striving for is zero illegal immigration. Instead, we are at the highest levels imaginable, and it's going to get absolutely worse. Like Senator Kennedy said, it is like the Hindenburg, colliding with the Titanic. What's about to happen when Title 42 goes away?
And Steve, we know that this isn't just a border problem anymore as these people come into our towns and communities. And we see that the polling numbers on illegal immigration are absolutely terrible for the Biden administration. As you go out on the campaign trail and talk to people in your state, what are you hearing from the people that fight our wars and pay our taxes?
The people here are outraged. Everywhere I go, for every reason. People dying of fentanyl, the taxpayers of Arizona supporting the costs associated with people coming into our state, committing crimes, incarceration. There's at every level of society, we are paying the price. And in Arizona in particular, paying the cost for these people. I went to the border, and when I did, what I found were a lot of these people would not have qualified for asylum. They're coming here because they want a better life. That's great. But we have a legal way for people to come in. They ditch their identification documents behind the fence, behind the wall, and then they come. And the Border Patrol is acting like Uber. They pick them up and they take them to the airport and they fly away. Then we have
Uber
the getaways.
and the red carpet rolled out. It's unbelievable.
These people are getting better treatment than our own citizens. It's outrageous.
Well, Mike Howell and Steve Gaynor, so great to have you both with us tonight. I wish we were talking about something a lot more positive, maybe in a year or a couple more years once we have a new commander-in-chief. Thank you both for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.